Good morning. I'm Jennifer. Here again to read for Include Me and the Ark of Pennsylvania. I'm not going to start the book right away. I want to give some people a time to join us and listen to the story. Right now, the story we're going to read is We'll Paint the Octopus Red. I will show you a little picture of the book while we wait. We do a story every Friday at 11. We've read stories about... last week we read stories. Last week was I'm Not Just a Scribble. The week before that we read a story that talked about all kinds of different disabilities. And we've read some stories about autism, about a young lady who has Down syndrome, a young lady who uses a wheelchair, and all the wonderful things that everybody can do. So, I'm going to get started. Again, the name of the book we're reading today is We'll Paint the Octopus Red, written by Stuve-Bodeen and illustrated by Pam DeVito. This morning, my dad woke me up and told me I had a new baby brother named Isaac. When my mom first told me I was getting a new brother or sister, I wasn't very happy. I've had mom and dad to myself for almost 6 years, and I like it that way. Then I had a talk with Dad about all the things I could do with my new brother or sister. My dad said that when the baby is little, I can help change the diapers. That sounds yucky, I said. My dad said that when the baby learns to sit up, I can roll a ball to it. That sounds boring, I said. My dad said that I can read books to the baby. I don't know how to read yet, I said. My dad said that when the baby gets bigger, we can play kickball in the backyard. I bet I'll kick the ball farther, I said. Then I thought of some things all by myself. When we go to Grandpa's farm, the baby can help me feed the calves with the nipple bottle. My dad said the baby could do that when it gets bigger. When we go for a ride in the minivan, we can sit in the back and eat fruit snacks and stick our tongues out at cars that go by. My dad said that the fruit snacks were okay, but he didn't think we should stick our tongues out. When we go downtown to the art festival, I can show the baby how to paint a picture with an octopus. My dad said that sounded weird, but I explained that the octopus is only rubber, and you brush the paint on and then put the octopus on the paper. My dad made a face, but said that the baby would probably like that when it was older. When we go to see Aunt Wendy, the baby can go on the airplane with us, and I'll tell the baby to be really nice to Aunt Wendy because she gives us great presents. My dad said the baby would definitely go on the plane with us, but that I should be nice to everyone, even if they don't give me presents. And someday, when we're both older, we'll go to Africa on a safari and see elephants and rhinos. My dad said that we could go, but only if we took him along. By the time we were done talking, we'd thought of at least 1,000,000 things my new brother or sister could do with me, and I was ready to be a big sister. But this morning, my dad's eyes were red when he woke me up. He said, "Emma, there's something you need to know about the baby." Then he said that Isaac had been born with something called Down syndrome. I guessed I knew what that meant. Isaac won't be able to play kickball with me. My dad said that Isaac might not walk as soon as other kids, but he could probably learn to kick the ball when he's older. Isaac won't be able to feed the cows with a nipple bottle. My dad said that Isaac might need some help, that he'd be able to do that too. He won't be able to ride in the back of the minivan and eat fruit snacks and stick out his tongue at cars. My dad smiled and said that he figured Isaac would be very good at both of those things. Then he won't be able to paint the octopus. My dad said that he was positive Isaac could do that if I showed him how. Will we take him along to Aunt Wendy's? My dad said we wouldn't go without Isaac. I knew the bad news was coming. He won't be able to go with me on safari in Africa, will he? My dad said that he couldn't think of a reason why Isaac couldn't go. By the time we were done talking, we couldn't find one of those million things that Isaac wouldn't be able to do with me. If Isaac has this down thing, then what can't he do? My dad hugged me. He said that as long as we were patient with Isaac and helped him when he needed it, there probably wasn't anything he couldn't do. We went to the hospital, and my mom was holding Isaac. I held his little hand. Hi, Isaac. I am your big sister, Emma. He smelled like baby powder when I leaned close to whisper in his ear. I will show you how to paint the octopus, Isaac, and I think we'll paint it red.
Why?
And that is the end of our story. So we'll stay on in case anybody has some questions. Did you have a question? What was your question?
Why was his eyes red?
Why was Dad's eyes red? So Chase wants to know why Emma's father's eyes were red when he came in to tell her about Isaac being born. And sometimes when I think you expect one thing and it doesn't happen, you can be a little sad and grieve a little bit. But then so he might have been a little sad. But then I think as he talked to Emma and they thought about it, it wasn't really any reason to be sad because Isaac is going to be just fine, right? While we're waiting, there's actually some questions and answers in the back of the book about Down syndrome, so I thought I would read them for you. The first question is, what is Down syndrome? Their answer is, Down syndrome is something that causes differences in the way a baby looks and learns. No two babies with Down syndrome are quite the same, but they are often extra flexible, have eyes that slant upward, have small ears and a small nose, and grow more slowly than other kids. They also tend to learn more slowly than other babies. But every baby has his own personality and will look like other members of his family. Why do some babies have Down syndrome? Babies with Down syndrome are born with one extra chromosome in some or all of their cells. Chromosomes are tiny, thread-shaped things inside your body. They contain the directions that tell your body how to grow. These directions tell your body what color your eyes and hairs will be, how big your nose will be, whether you will be a good singer, and many other things. When a baby has an extra chromosome, it mixes up his body's directions a little. That is why babies with Down syndrome look a little different from other babies and have to try harder to learn. Nobody knows why some babies are born with Down syndrome, but we do know that it's nobody's fault. We have any questions on there yet? No? Will the baby always have Down syndrome? Yes. It is not something he will grow out of. Why is it called Down syndrome? A doctor named John Langdon Down was the first to write about this condition. He did not know all the things we know today about Down syndrome, but it is still named after him. Can anyone catch Down syndrome from the baby? No. The only way to get Down syndrome is to be born with it. And here, this is the answer to your question. Why are some grown-ups sad when they hear the baby has Down syndrome? Grown-ups might be sad because they did not plan to have a baby with Down syndrome. Sometimes they are worried because the baby might need to spend extra time at the hospital or have to go back for an operation later. Grown-ups can also be scared if they don't know what to expect for their baby. It usually takes a little time for them to get used to their baby having Down syndrome, but then they can stop being sad and scared and just enjoy their new baby. Why does the baby take up so much of mom's and dad's time? All babies need lots of care because they cannot do anything for themselves at first. A baby with Down syndrome might need extra care because he might take longer to learn to do things, like drink from a bottle or sit up. Mom and dad may need to spend time teaching the baby to do things that other babies learn to do themselves. Sometimes brothers and sisters can help the baby learn too. Will the baby be able to talk when he's bigger? Like any baby, he will understand what words mean before he can say them himself. If he has trouble learning to talk, he might be taught to make signs with his hands to tell people what he wants. When he is older, he will learn to talk, but he may not speak as clearly as other children. Brothers, sisters, and friends usually have no trouble understanding kids with Down syndrome.
All right, so Lisa wants to know, can I be friends with someone with Down syndrome?
Absolutely. We can be friends with anybody. I have some very good friends that have Down syndrome.
Me too.
Yes, we do. So, and they can have fun and do things just like we do. We have a good friend who comes and we to our parties, and
Yeah, she's flexible.
She enjoys singing on our karaoke machine. So yes, you can be friends with somebody that has Down syndrome. Mm-hmm.
It's fun.
And sometimes, as we were just asking in this question, it's hard maybe to understand them, but brothers and sisters and friends, the more you get to know somebody, the more you learn about them.
So Down is the last name of like the guy's name, and then syndrome is like, I don't know. What is syndrome mean?
Syndrome is just the term that we used for that specific diagnosis.
Syndrome.
There's 2 more questions here. Will the baby go to school just like any other kid when he gets older?
Of course. They need knowledge.
All children with Down syndrome go to school. Many go to the same school as their brothers or sisters, and some go to schools with special classes. Most children with Down syndrome learn how to read, write, do math problems, draw, play sports, and do the same things the other kids at school do. It just may take them longer to learn.
I know that very good friend who is autism and he plays baseball and he's the best guy on the team.
I thought you were going to read another one. No, okay. Why do people say that the baby is special?
Well, it's true, but every baby is special.
Yes. I'm going to read their answer and then I'll tell you. Sometimes people say that babies with Down syndrome are special because they need extra time and help to learn. But they are also special in the same ways that other kids are special. All kids, with or without Down syndrome, are special because they have their own interests, talents, and personalities. If you take the time to get to know any child, you will discover that he is special in his own way. And that kind of answered. That was our answer. That's why we don't like special, because we think that everybody is special, and everybody has talents and needs and wants, and we're all just people, right?
If you say if you see a kid with Down syndrome and you talk to your friend, hey, look at that kid's special. You don't say that kid's special because you may not realize it, but you're special too. So you should say, look at that kid. He looks he has his own interests, which are cool. not that, special. Well, they are, but everybody's special. Like in the book it says.
All right. Very nice. This is Chase. He came out to join me. All right. Thank you. We'll be back next week at 11 o'clock.